I'm yelling at a microphone list, so hopefully y'all can hear me a little bit. I again look like a go ball. It is what happens. I guess I look like a squirrel when I do that, so it kind of works. Make sure you guys can hear me. If hiccup, if one person will just say yes or 5x5 or whatever it is you guys want to say to let me know that the audio is good, we will jump into everything. And I believe the rain is about to start again for probably the fourth time today. But let me know you can hear me, and let's jump into what's going on. We're going to talk about Kristi Noem. Obviously, we're going to talk about Iran. We're going to talk about President Trump. We're going to talk about what just happened in Indonesia or Malaysia, and I don't remember which one. We're going to get there, though. Y'all can hear me? Good. Hopefully, you're having a fabulous Tuesday, everybody out there in SquirrelTribe land. So let's just jump into the everything. And I know I say it often, but this will be a shorter live stream because I need to get home and cook dinner for my husband. My best friend and I had a 5-hour lunch date, so I need to get home and take care of the man. All right, let's go straight into it. The first thing I want to mention to you is that Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, Mr. Terminator himself, or Junior, the man who was pregnant in that movie, which I wasn't a huge fan of, like that one, right? But I did love him in Kindergarten Cop, one of my favorite movies of his. He went on The View. And I feel like everybody at some point goes on The View, whether you're left, right, down the middle, don't give half a shit about politics, whatever. I feel like a lot of people go on The View so that they can either give their side of how they feel about things, or so they can agree with the hags on The View. It just kind of depends, right? Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger goes on The View, and he said, this is what he said: when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America. And I just think it's very interesting, given what happened over the weekend with the No Kings protests and everything else, that he's now on there talking the way he is because he's an immigrant. I mean, he's not from the United States of America. He's from, I can't remember the name of the country he's from. Oh, I love him in the movie Twins with Danny DeVito, also off topic, but he's an immigrant. He came here, he immigrated here, he got his legal status, whatever he needed. He was then the governor, right? Like, he's done everything the way it's supposed to be done. He has given back to this country. Austria, thank you, Scott. He has given back to this country numerous times, in numerous ways, not just as a celebrity and not just as a governor, but he does a lot for the communities that he's part of and things like that, whether you like him as whatever he is, whether he was Democrat or Republican, however you feel about him, at the end of the day, he has done a lot of good things, right? And so for him to go on The View and basically shut those ladies down and say, listen, you can be an immigrant here, but if you're coming here to this country, it's because you want to be part of this country. It's because you want to give back to this country, not because you want to come here to shit on this country. That doesn't make any sense, right? And I just thought it was great that here he is. I'm not gonna, maybe it'll show it in a second. I'm not going to play it, but there he is. He looks really good for his age. I don't know how old he is. I'm pretty sure he probably does some Botox to his face to make him not look older than he is. I know for the longest, he used to be a huge meat eater, like basically a carnivore dude. And then he went vegan. I don't think it was vegetarian. I think it was straight up vegan years ago. He has a whole thing on, maybe it's Netflix, maybe it's Hulu, like a documentary on how he changed the way he eats and everything else like that, trying to get into better shape and whatnot. And I thought that was interesting when so many people are talking about how great the carnivore diet is and things like that, right? That he went from straight carnivore and probably some injections at the same time, let's be honest, to more of a vegan diet. Now, the other thing I want to mention before we jump into everything is this here that Benny Johnson posted. This is in Indonesia. He said that what is it? Mount Liwatubi, or however you say it, erupted. Look at that. I mean, that is huge. That is a huge plume of smoke. Non-toxic, but a huge plume of smoke. At the end of the day, that's a lot. And that is, what, the second or third volcano in a very short period of time that has erupted. Not saying anything conspiracy theorist there, obviously, but it's just very interesting that these are happening more and more often right now, given the fact that none of these were happening for the longest, and now they're crazy, right? All right, now outside of that, the DHS Secretary, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, they said that she was rushed to a hospital in an ambulance. They didn't know why, but then it turns out she had some sort of allergic reaction. So just FYI, Kristi Noem is in a hospital right now. She had an allergic reaction to something. Nobody tried to take her out. Nobody tried to assassinate her. This is not an attack on her. It wasn't that Padilla guy. No worries there. Although he tried to attack her before. This is a straight up allergic reaction, so they're saying. And she took a little ambulance ride to the hospital. They're taking care of her. She's talking to people. No issues there. In theory, everything should be fine. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up so that you knew what was going on. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of it all. So last night I posted on X, which if you follow me over there, I'm sure you saw it, but I posted on X that that today's live stream on YouTube could be terrifying or a sigh of relief. It was going to be one or the other, right? So last night, actually 22 hours ago, so yeah, last night about 5:30, Raw's Alerts over on X posted this thing, and it said, breaking, President Donald Trump has ordered that the National Security Council be prepared and assembled in the Situation Room as he departs the G7 summit early and will arrive in Washington, D.C. tonight, like around 3 a.m. All these things because of what's going on between Israel and Iran, with the back and forth and trying to have the conversations with Iran, have the conversations with Israel, everything that's going on. And for President Trump to leave the G7 summit, to come back, to assemble the National Security Council in the Situation Room, all these things obviously give you a heightened sense of, I want to use the word panic, because if you don't understand everything that's going on, it's going to give you anxiety and panic, right? I don't know everything the president is doing. I don't know all the ins and outs of what's going on between Israel, Iran, and our country specifically. So when I see that the president is cutting the G7 summit short to come back, it gives me a little bit of a, oh shit, like this could go horribly wrong, like bad things could be happening. So I have that saved, and I want to bring up all of these. Let me try to go in some sort of order here. Y'all know how this works. Try to go in some sort of order. But what's crazy is you have that, so 19 hours ago, it said the White House is in discussions with Iran to set a meeting this week between Steve Witkoff and the Iranian foreign minister to hammer out a nuclear deal. This is per Axios. And Nick Sorter posted this on X, and he goes, you know, this is the way. We don't want a war with Iran. President Trump has posted on Truth Social and on X and spoken about it to media that Iran should not have nuclear weapons. I know that the Obama administration put a lot of money into Iran, which is why nuclear weapons are a thing there. And there's a lot of issues going on right now with the fact that Iran earlier today released a video of basically someone stroking a nuclear bomb. I'm not saying that should scare the shit out of people, but what came afterwards, according to this, Iran state media claims that tonight Iran will have a surprise the world will remember for centuries. I don't read Arabic, which is what I think that is, and so I have to trust that the translations are really what they are. But when you have a video showing them stroking a nuclear bomb, and then you have this, there is a surprise tonight that the world will remember for centuries, and this is before there's supposed to be a conversation between President Trump and the people in Iran. That is definitely terrifying. That is a threat to the U.S. At least it seems like it to me. With building tensions amongst people in general, I feel like everybody's at like this high alert and easy to kind of like pop off and say the wrong things or do the wrong things or any like whatever. This is something that we have no control over, and I'm a very much I like to control the situation of things. I like to drive. I like it when my husband drives because I feel like there's control that way, which is why I don't like to fly, which is why I don't like to ride on buses. I don't like Ubers because I feel like I have no control of my life at that point. When there's talks of nuclear bombs and World War III and all these other things, it gives me personally, maybe it's unwarranted anxiety, but it's anxiety nonetheless because I have no control over what happens to myself based off of what other people are doing, based off of the choices that our government's making, and not even just our government, but obviously the governments of Israel and the governments of Iran. The choices they make will affect us at the end of the day. You already have Israel trying to get the United States of America to side with them and fight against Iran. You have Iran who wants to basically be able to do what they want to do, which I don't know how I feel about that part either. And I told you guys yesterday, I think, that I don't have enough knowledge on Israel itself and Iran itself to have a huge opinion on who is right and who is wrong. You know what I mean? It's all based off what I've been told or what I've seen versus what I know for myself, because I've either experienced it or witnessed it or done my own research on it, which I have not done enough between those two countries to really understand. But what I do know is that as an American in the United States of America, I do not want to be pulled into a war. I do not want to be a casualty of war. I want nothing to do with that. Now, I live in an area that's very highly trafficked by military, right? I live near a lot of Air Force bases. And to me, that gives me a sense of safety, right? Because they're here to protect us. But it's also, at the same time, people are like, hey, you live in one of the places where they may bomb first. Take out all of the fighter jets and everybody that could get up in the sky and go after them. So it gives you a sense of, I don't know, false security or false scaredness. That's not a word. One of the two, right? So I see this stuff, and then I see President Trump 5 hours ago post unconditional surrender. Okay, well, that feels like we are poking the bear, right? I trust that President Trump is going to do what is necessary to keep us safe. Like, I truly do, because, and this may sound wrong and it's not meant to, but not because I feel like he cares about us and about our country, but also his money is invested in this country, and he is a businessman, and he wants to keep his money safe, which is probably why I think a lot of people voted for him, because he will do what is necessary to keep his money safe, which in the long term keeps America safe and makes America great again, because that's where his money is invested, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So when he's posting up unconditional surrender, it gives me just a small hint of anxiety, because it is poking the bear. Then he also says, we know, just so you know, these are his posts on X. These are specifically from the presidential account of X. This isn't a tweaked one, an AI written one, nothing like that. These are his. He said, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, and he put kill in parentheses, at least not for now, but we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then right after it, he says, we now have, this is the one to me that is the unfortunate icing on the cake. Because, you know, let's be completely honest here. Men and their egos, right? Mine's bigger than yours. They do these pissing contests, this kind of thing. Like, who can out whatever each other. And the problem is, when you have country leaders trying to say, mine's bigger than yours, at some point it's going to escalate to the point where somebody shows theirs. And if Iran is going to show their nuclear weapon, I'm personally terrified of that, right? But President Trump said, we now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment, and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. I saw a video yesterday that was showing how many jets, like fighter jets, are in each country. And it showed like Brazil, and it showed Hungary and Norway and all these others. And they were in the hundreds and then a couple thousands. And then you get to the United States. It was like a little step up. Like every time I went to a new country, little step up. And then it got to Saudi Arabia and Iran. And the next thing you know, it goes to the United States, and you can't even see the top of it, because the United States, according to what I looked at, has just under 15,000 fighter jets, which is way more than any other country. But my brain is going, how does anybody know exactly how many anything we have? Then I was thinking to myself, why would a country that is planning on attacking us tell social media first, right? When Iran shows the video of them stroking a nuclear bomb, and then says that the biggest surprise in the world, why would they say that? Why would they give anybody a heads up? Are they then trying to poke the bear and get Israel or the United States of America to attack first, right? Like, are they trying to get us or them to make the first move so that whatever they do is in self-defense, as opposed to starting it all, right? These are questions that I have when I see these kind of things. And then on top of that, you have, hold on, let me get done here. JD Vance posted just 7 hours ago, before the president made his tweets, his posts, whatever. JD Vance said this, and it's long, but I'm going to read it to you in case you haven't seen it or heard it, okay? Ready? He says, look, I'm seeing this from the inside, which, you know, Vice President of the United States, and admittedly, I am admittedly biased towards our president and my friend, but there's a lot of crazy stuff on social media, so I wanted to address some things directly on the Iran issue. First, POTUS has been amazingly consistent over 10 years that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Over the last few months, he encouraged his foreign policy team to reach a deal with the Iranians to accomplish this goal. The president has made clear that Iran cannot have uranium enrichment, and he said repeatedly that this would happen one of two ways: the easy way or the other way. Second, I've seen a lot of confusion over the issue of civilian nuclear power and uranium enrichment. These are distant issues. Iran could have civilian nuclear power without enrichment, but Iran rejected that. Meanwhile, they've enriched uranium far above the level necessary for any civilian purpose. They've been found in violation of their non-proliferation obligations by the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, which is hardly a right-wing organization. It's one thing to want civilian nuclear energy. It's another thing to demand sophisticated enrichment capacity. And it's still another to cling to enrichment while simultaneously violating basic non-proliferation obligations and enriching right to the point of weapons-grade uranium. I have yet to see a single good argument for why Iran needed to enrich uranium well above the threshold for civilian use. I've yet to see a single good argument for why Iran was justified in violating its non-proliferation obligations. I've yet to see a single good pushback against the IAEA's findings. Meanwhile, the president has shown remarkable restraint in keeping our military's focus on protecting our troops and protecting our civilians. He may decide he needs to take further action to end Iranian enrichment. That decision ultimately belongs to the president. And of course, people are right to be worried about foreign entanglement after the last 25 years of idiotic foreign policy. But I believe the president has earned some trust on this issue, and having seen this up close and personal, I can assure you that he is only interested in using the American military to accomplish the American people's goals. Whatever he does, this is his focus. Now, I've been on social media a lot, the past couple of days, and there's a lot of accounts that are posting very negatively about President Trump and Iran and stuff like that. You have Candace Owens, who is very, very vocal about her dislike, distrust, whatever of Israel. You now have the Hodge twins, who have kind of jumped on with dragging President Trump because they don't want to be involved with Israel, all these different things. But I think a lot of people on social media are confusing backing your president with wanting war, right? You can say that you support your president and what he is going to do, while at the same time saying you don't want there to be war. But there is definitely a divide that seems to be happening with the MAGA base and Republicans in general right now against President Trump and everything that's going on in regards to Israel and Iran. People are saying, when I voted for Trump on November 5th, I didn't vote for war with Iran. Neither did I. I'm sure when the president, decided to run or won, he wasn't thinking to himself, man, I can't wait to go to war with Iran. I can guarantee that's not a thing. Now, I did see something earlier where I don't have a verification of this, and I'm going to try to find if there is verification of this or not. So this is just me mentioning it because I saw it and it made some sort of sense, where it was posted up by a larger channel on X that Iran had come into possession by basically data hacking something of 3 terabytes worth of super I want to use the word top secret information, I think is how they phrased it, that had a bunch of files on it that had to do with Israel top officials and some things with Americans as well. And that's why President Trump wants to have these talks with Iran, not because of the war between it and Israel, but because of the data they may possibly have gotten through some sort of breach to get that data back. I'll be looking into this to see if there's any sort of ask to it, because I don't know for a fact, but I do know that, in my opinion, I can't say I do know and then my opinion in the same sentence. So in my opinion, I don't think that President Trump is trying to take us into war with Iran. I don't think he's trying to have us be part of Israel's defense system. Now, Iran and Israel both have American weapons. We have sold them both American weapons. Our country has sold them the weapons. Our country has used weapons against them. Our country has left weapons in their countries. Like, they have plenty of American weapons to go to war with each other with. Same thing with Ukraine and Russia. We sent all of our weapons to Ukraine. Russia goes in. Russia picks up those weapons, take them back. They have our weapons now as well. There's a lot of American weapons everywhere. So this is my thought. What is to say, or how do we stop Iran from thinking that some bomb that hits there or something that happens did not come from the United States of America when it comes from a weapon that is from the United States of America? How do you prove that it's Israel that's bombing them? How do you prove it's Iran that's bombing Israel when they are both using weapons from the United States of America? That has been my question for the very longest time. It's not like they're going through and scrubbing off whatever name is on there and putting their country's name on it, right? So it's going to be, we don't have anything as of right now. Somebody posted that the president is supposed to speak maybe later on tonight, like do a live speech. A Roz Alerts posted it. They said officials are reporting that President Trump is going to speak to the nation. If he does, that is a terrifying thing to me. The president is not going to stop what he's doing to speak to the nation unless we are about to be entangled in some bullshit. That's how I feel about it. So if you see an address by the president pop up, go ahead and kiss your butt and duck and cover, because something's gonna happen. And that's, I'm not excited for it. I don't want it. Hodge Twins literally just posted this 60 seconds ago. He says, I hope we are completely wrong about this war and nothing bad happens. Legit will be happy as hell and everybody can trash us and talk all the shit, but we've seen how this stuff goes over the last 25 years. You should at least be skeptical when the deep state is at work, which I agree. You should always be skeptical about what's going on. But I still would like to have some faith and trust in the man that I voted for, that he is going to do what is best for this country. I would not have that same faith and trust if Kamala Harris was at the helm. I feel like we would have been in the middle of everything way sooner if she had been at the helm, right? Either way, we have to keep an eye out on what's going on. There is, excuse me, there's a lot happening right now with, like I said, Israel and Iran and all kinds of stuff with the shooter in Minnesota, the Korean army. North Korea's Kim Jong-un declares that Tehran does not stand alone. The Korean People's Army is on high alert. So if stuff was to pop off, you have North Korea that's going to be fighting alongside Iran in theory. Israel is expecting America, United States of America, to fight alongside them. What happens with all these other countries? Like, where does the, it feels like a red rover, send blah, blah right over. And then you get your sides and then you just, you know, right in the middle. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for anybody. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything in the last couple minutes since we started talking that we need to discuss. The streets of Tehran, in Iran are absolutely deserted after President Trump sent a warning to evacuate immediately, which is the other thing I had saved. So last night, President Trump posted that the people of Iran need to evacuate and they need to get out of Tehran. And I thought I had the video. I did not save the video. That's great. Then, okay, so there's that. And then according to Israeli Channel 14, President Trump is expected to sign an order in the coming hours to formally join the war between Israel and Iran. This is according to an Israeli TV show or TV channel. There are also reports that the U.S. itself is already attacking Tehran, which I don't agree with. I don't believe. Again, you cannot trust mainstream media. It doesn't matter what country it's coming from. But like I was saying earlier, when they're using American weapons, how do we prove as America that we're not the ones using the weapons against them, right? This is a very, very significant development in the coming hours, that the Americans are behind them and are moving forces towards the Middle East, moving aircraft carriers and planes in general towards the Middle East, really to reinforce the forces and enter the war in a very, very official way. It's now a wait and see game. It could be total propaganda. This is on an Israeli channel. So again, I can't read what it's saying, and they've got some captions there. We just have to be very mindful of what is happening, of where the information is coming from. I will try to always bring you the absolute truth, but even I can get things wrong sometimes. I will be the first one, unless y'all catch it first, to tell you when I am wrong on something. So as of right now, the stuff I am bringing you, except for the one where I said about the 3 terabytes of stuff, that one I'm not positive on. I saw it and it seemed feasible, so it's stuck here and I'm going to look it up. But we have to be very mindful of what we're getting. The things that are being shared by Israeli or Iranian TV shows and whatever else, unless you speak the language, You have to take every single bit of that with a grain of salt, because anybody can tell you that it says anything, and you might not know better and just believe it. So be very, very careful with what you're watching and what you're letting affect your thought process on this whole entire thing, right? Oh, here it is. Here's the video of the people that were fleeing Iran. So President Trump made the comment or the post that people need to get out of Iran, out of Tehran specifically, which gives you the feeling that something is going to happen in that city, whether it's because of Israel or because of the United States of America. That does not sit well personally with me. I'm sure it does not sit well with a lot of people, because that feels like it's giving Iran the what's the word? The heads up that something's about to happen. So then Iran comes back with, let's stroke this nuclear weapon and tell them they're going to see some shit tonight that's going to surprise the crap out of them. Again, it's a back and forth. Luis says they can't reach the USA. It's probably meant for Israel. They said if they do send it to Israel, they will be ended by all countries. Either way, nukes being sent out, I don't see why anybody needs them. I don't see why they are in existence. I don't see why it's the thing. I mean, if we personally don't kill each other, right, all the people in the world, it's the nuclear weapons that'll do it. If you've watched the latest Mission Impossible, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's nuclear weapons to me make absolutely no sense at the end of the day. My thought process on that, because all it is a pissing contest when you bring in nuclear weapons. Who's going to do it first? And once you do, what's left, right? You've ruined everything. Everything's done. You're killing everybody. It doesn't make sense to me. So that's what we've got for right now. 26 minutes. Dang it. At least it's not 45. You're welcome. I love you. It's not 45 minutes or an hour, which I could still talk, but I'm going to let y'all go for now so I can go cook my husband some dinner. But like I said, I'll keep an eye on this. Whatever you guys know, feel free to comment in the comments when this is all said and done. If you have information that I missed that you think we all need to know, put it in there, because a lot of people need to know what's going on. And hopefully y'all, if I don't know, the good juju, the whatever, the cross your fingers, cross your toes, whatever you need to do, that there is no public address to the country later by the president, because that to me is not a good sign if the president ends up on your TV later on tonight. So that is that, y'all. I love you immensely, like always, and I will see you sometime tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. What do I have? Gym in the morning. So we'll probably see each other here around this time, maybe a little bit earlier tomorrow if you guys are up for it. If not, no harm, no foul. I still love you. Maybe you can watch it on the replay. So y'all have a good night. Adios. Bye-bye.